Ghost, week 2, folks, we are live. Real quick, I think Ghost had a few too many last night. I actually did not have cocktails despite my friends playing golf with in the simulator all night last night. I think I got the flu or something, so I don't know if they were around a bunch of young kids or something, but I picked up something. So we'll try to make this a quicker show. The Jordan flu game, but Ghost, how we doing today? How do you feel about this slate?
It's a great slate, man. There's a lot of interesting spots for tournaments. So, like week one was a solid week. Our cash games hit. Looking to keep that rolling, but it's a lot of good spots this week for tournaments.
Yeah, tournaments. I was in that 444 milli with a buddy, and we snuck through the pay line. I think we made the pay line by like 1.5 points, and it was that last Tyreek touchdown. So locking in Tyreek was not anything crazy. A lot of people had done it, but that was the way to go. So I like that we were on that. But man, Russell Wilson and the Broncos offense were cruising in the first quarter and a half. I think they had 2 possessions or 3 possessions in the first half because their pace of play was so slow. It was just a bummer. So don't really want to backtrack too much and go to week 1. Let's go to week 2. If you guys got questions, this show is for you, but it will be a quick one, hopefully. But real quick with average depth of target. So the biggest changes from last year to right now was Russell Wilson's ADOT was down 4.5 yards. Matt Stafford's ADOT was up about 4.5 yards, and Justin Fields was down 6 yards. So I will start there. Looks like the weather in Tampa Bay is not too bad. It could be spotty rain, like anytime in Florida. Same thing with KC and Jacksonville. But Justin Fields is going to be my favorite tournament play. I think I texted Sia on Monday morning, like, "Hey man, I do think it's Justin Fields week. Top Bulls will blitz a ton. Should have some cover 3 zone though behind it. So I don't think Justin Fields is going to break like an 80-yard touchdown run like we saw towards the end of last year when he was just on an absolute heater. But I do think we get like a 10 to 12 carry game for him and potentially, right around 100 yards. He did average 100 on the ground against teams that blitzed a lot last year. So I do think this is a really good spot. Tampa did give up 270 pass yards, or 273, I believe, to Kirk Cousins in the first half. They are out Carlton Davis, I believe. Izien is out. Christian Izien, one of their safeties, who also will play coverage in that cover 3. I believe he's out. If anybody's got notes on that, feel free to tell us some inactives because we are not checking that live on this show. But Ghost, what do you think at the quarterback position? We'll kind of break down this whole position, then go to running backs.
I'm in on the Justin Fields call. I'm actually playing him with none of his receivers because the only way that I don't want to say the only way, but I'm hoping he could get there through the air. Like it's not really his style to go for 450 and 4, but everyone knows that the way that he's going to get it done is with his legs. And if Chicago wants to win any games this year, they're going to have to let him run wild. So I'm in on it. I don't feel 100% need to play him with a DJ Moore or a Darnell Mooney or anyone really. And you don't even have to run him back with anyone. It's more that play where you're looking at a lineup and with everyone flocking to Josh Allen and that Bills offense at the top of the pricing grid, you just need Justin Fields pretty much outscore those that are around him, right? And that main one-to-one matchup is him versus Josh Allen. So don't feel obliged to really pair him with anyone. Apart from that, I absolutely love going back to the well with both of my week 1 quarterbacks, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. I actually like the Bengals to be one of, if not the highest scoring teams this week. We'll talk about that a little bit more with the wide receiver position because I know you love certain someone and I love his number 2. So both these guys are going to be firmly in play, and Joe Burrow is going to be my main quarterback this week in tournaments. And Justin Herbert, no Austin Eckler this week for the Chargers. Everyone's going to be playing Kelly, and we'll talk about that at the running back position in a couple minutes. But the Chargers are going to get it done through the air. I'm not really about attacking a Mike Vrabel defense on the ground, so this team will get absolutely decimated through the air. Keenan Allen looked once again phenomenal in week 1, Mr. Reliable, and Mike Williams goes for an extremely long touchdown this week. So I love going back to the well with Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, those are my second and third favorite quarterback this week. I'll be playing Josh Allen in cash. He's going to be the highest owned quarterback. They are a monster favorite, though. I believe they're a 8.5-point favorite over Las Vegas. They do have the highest implied team total on the slate, so definitely get either Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs in cash. But yeah, for tournaments, man, Kellen Moore played a Josh Dobbs-led Titans team last year in Tennessee. Dallas was never losing in that game. I don't think the game was ever relatively within one score. I think it was 7 to 10 points pretty much the whole game till Dallas.
Dak had like 50 pass attempts in that game.
41 pass attempts, which is I believe was 8 more than their team average. So, and they did not have Tony Pollard, so it's kind of the same situation. It's like the run game's hurt a little bit on this offense. They're just going to air it out. It's what's going to happen. It's a great week to play Justin Herbert. And then Joe Burrow, Marlon Humphrey's out, and Marcus Williams are both out for Baltimore on the defensive side. There are two of their better cover defensive backs. So, yeah, good luck to them. I think those are pretty much the 3 quarterbacks in tournaments that I'll be interested in. And then Josh Allen for cash. Unfortunately, I'm fading Patrick Mahomes, but sub 10% Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
that was going to be my honorable mention. Like, no one's really playing that game. If anyone has any weather updates on that one, because I heard there might be some scattered showers here and there, and that's what they said about the Bengals game, and it was borderline a monsoon out there. So, like, in terms of the whole weather reports, obviously any sport that you're playing, whether it be baseball, football, any sport that's affected by weather, in terms of DFS, you have to be wary. Unless the person that's reporting is boots on the ground, it's always tough to call for sure. But if we get confirmation that the weather is good to go, Mahomes gets Kelsey back this week. He was already messing around in practice. Spirits are high on that offense now. An extremely high game total, a tight spread. KC Jacksonville, there's some history there. Potential breakout year for Trevor Lawrence. Like, I'm really not opposed to game stacking that one at all, with it flying under the radar in a surprising week 2 matchup. I thought for sure it would be the most popular game, but it's not the case at all. So I'm all for that in tournaments.
Any values on the board you like before we go to running backs? So like Anthony Richardson, 6,300 is probably going to be a popular guy. Jared Goff, I know Sia liked him. I am not on that game much at all. I think Seattle's offense is dreadful, and they're down 2 offensive linemen. And Detroit's defense got much better than they were last year. I just don't think the shootout's coming. But no one's really going to play Jared Goff, Anthony Richardson, anything like that. Brock Purdy, any value. Jordan Love. Just the totals in those games outside of Detroit and Seattle are just so low. I don't really want to mess with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, outside of large field tournaments, if you're playing a Million Maker style tournament, or you're playing these 150 maxes where there's a trillion entries there, like, I think I'd say I'll give the nod to Jordan Love. It's just, again, you mentioned Jared Goff already, so I won't double down on that. And then, like, you hit the nail on the head with the game totals are extremely low. It's going to be slower paced games. The reason why I'll give the nod to Jordan Love, just to give a bit of an explanation there, by any means, is he my main guy, or even in a 3 max? No, it's not even a consideration for me. I'm going to the top of the pricing grid. That being said, you know exactly who to stack him with. Aaron Jones is out. Christian Watson's still out. Like, it's a very easy way to start your build, because you know exactly where he's going. And that's exactly what I was about to mention next. For the FanDuel players, Joe Burrow's price on FanDuel has to be the most disrespectful thing we've seen. Even though it's only 2 weeks into the season, it's by far the most disrespectful price I've ever seen on someone in the early stages of this NFL season. So for me, there's absolutely no reason to go anywhere else. But if you want to dabble with some punt range quarterbacks, you mentioned Goff. I'll throw Jordan Love out there just because you know exactly who to stack them with. But I'm not. I just can't get there this week.
All right, right on running back position. Where are you going at the running back position? Give me 5 names to target that you like, and then at the end we'll go cash and GPP just overall.
I was about to say, do you want to start with the chalk with Kelly and AJ Dillon? You want to touch on those 2 first, and then I'll fire off the 5 names. You could touch on the 2 chalk running backs of the week.
Yeah, so on DraftKings specifically, I'm sure on FanDuel it'll likely be the same. Everybody's going to play Josh Kelly. Everybody's going to play AJ Dillon. Same situation, Josh Kelly with Jamal Williams last week, and in cash, probably just take the free square at tournaments. I have absolutely no interest in Josh Kelly. AJ Dillon, I do have interest in tournaments if you need someone cheap, but Kenneth Walker at 5,800, I'd probably go down there at 10% ownership instead of 20-25 on AJ Dillon. Like we said, that game total is just so low for Green Bay. Only so much fantasy fireworks we can get in that game, but it is a goal line back. It's a guy that's going to catch, probably 3 or 4 passes in that offense. So AJ Dillon, I'm cool with. Josh Kelly will run some routes as well, just running against D'Amico Autry and that Tennessee Titans defensive line. Just we see time and time again, it's just not the way to beat them. Ghost, what do you like on the upper echelon? Give me, let's go on DraftKings, 7K and above.
I'll kind of do like a pivot style presentation of running backs. A lot of people are going to go Saquon. I'm not opposed to it. I'm going McCaffrey. So McCaffrey is going to be my top dog on the slate. Rams defense, Aaron Donald. You could name a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't be playing Christian McCaffrey. The game got way out of hand last week, and the man still rumbled for 150 on 20 plus carries. He's going to get a ton of touches. Arguably the highest red zone equity out of anybody in this league. So Christian McCaffrey is going to be my guy over Saquon, but I won't fault you for playing Saquon against a shell of an NFL team that is the Arizona Cardinals this year. Tournament play, I'm going with Derrick Henry. It's kind of against my thing where it's usually Thanksgiving and after, but a lot of people are going to be wary of the snap count last week. Spears got quite a bit of run that the hype chain was there during the offseason, but I don't think people really anticipated Derrick Henry coming off the field as much as he did in week 1. I don't care. Vrabel's going to have to absolutely give him 20 touches if they want to stay in this game. And that Chargers run defense, it's year in, year out, Derrick Henry. And if the equivalent of a uniform bet, go and check on Twitter Derrick Henry's fit for the game, and it smells like 150 yards and 2 scores for Derrick Henry this week. Perfect run back for my Chargers stacks of Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams. I'm forcing Derrick Henry in there towards the top of the pricing grid. Touch on that KC Jacksonville game with ETN. Am I forced him in there? Absolutely not, but he does warrant conversation. I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs over a chalky David Montgomery. Everyone knows my I don't want to go as far as saying hatred. It's not exactly a word that I like to have in my vocabulary, but strongly dislike David Montgomery and his lack of efficiency. We saw the 20 plus carries in week 1 against the Chiefs. I get it. He pretty much did what David Montgomery does, and that's fall into the end zone. 8-yard touchdown I wouldn't surprise me if it's one of his longest of his career, because usually it's 1 to 2 yard scores for David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs gets a lot more run this week, a lot more passing work, and they're going to work him into that offense. A ton of draft capital there for Jahmyr Gibbs. Absolutely love him as a pivot. Don't have to change teams, nothing. Just a little bit higher on the pricing grid. $500 difference on DraftKings. He's actually $500 less on FanDuel. Off the wall tournament plays, I'll give a safer option, both on the same team. The safer option is going to be Isaiah Pacheco, and the really off the wall play is going to be Jerick McKinnon at 4,600 on DraftKings. If and only if this is the only chance that I will get to play these guys. It's a big asterisk. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire cannot go, I will have some Isaiah Pacheco, but a whole lot more of Jerick McKinnon at 4,600 because the PPR upside is there on DraftKings. I don't feel the need to really play either one of them on FanDuel with Jahmyr Gibbs being so cheap. But on DraftKings, if you're looking for a punt running back a la Jackson last week, or any one of those punt running backs that everyone was on week 1, you don't really have to differ from that strategy. This week, Jerick McKinnon at 4,600. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire cannot go, no practice on Wednesday, no practice on Friday, questionable with an illness, still just under 2 hours till kickoff, Jerick McKinnon will be my 1% off the wall tournament play at the running back position.
I did not see that coming. I like it. I
gotta keep you on your toes. We've
no.
been doing this for years together. I gotta find ways to keep you on your toes. So
yeah, I did not see that coming. I love that you're on Gibbs. That's one of my favorite plays this week, especially when Swift goes nuts. Like, Detroit's got to kind of be like, okay, we didn't make a horrible decision letting him go. Here's what we have here, Jahmyr Gibbs. Derrick Henry is probably my favorite running back play on the slate, sub 10% ownership projection on DraftKings. We talked about the Chargers. What they need to do on offense is throw the living shit out of the ball. On the other side, Tennessee cannot really support getting in a shootout with this team, so they have to run through Derrick Henry. I would not worry about Tajay Spears in the snap count last week. Derrick Henry I actually have him, I think, projected for like 2.9 catches, so that same PPR floor we're used to seeing like the last year and a half with Henry. Love that. Up top, I think Saquon Barkley, dude, on DraftKings, the Arizona Cardinals are the highest projected ownership on defense, and I'm seeing
That's
Saquon
crazy to me.
for 5% ownership. Is that
Yeah,
anywhere
it's
close?
like I'm
I love
seeing the same
Saquon at that
thing.
point.
The one and only reason that I could attempt to justify that is that people are just clicking on game logs already this early in the season, which it's deep down in the roots of DFS players where a lot of people just game log watch and they're starting to high to low fantasy points per game and they're seeing week one Arizona Cardinals. That's like the only reason that I could justify it. Like, okay, they got stomped by the Cowboys in prime time. I get like Cowboys defense. Everybody could say what they want about the Cowboys, America's team, this and that. They really don't like the Cowboys, whatever. The Cowboys defense is Michael Parsons is one of the best defensive players in all of football. Like that is a strong defensive unit. You gotta cut Daniel Jones and Cruz some slack there. It's not like he's thrown to, Hall of Fame wide receivers either. Darren Waller was already banged up. Like you gotta I'm all for the Giants slander considering Cowboys fan here, but like you gotta kind of give them a bit of a break. I wouldn't go as far as playing Arizona's defense this week. That to me is absolutely crazy.
Adam Troutman. Oh man, this got ugly quick.
Oof.
Love it. I do like the McKinnon call if Clyde's out. Either way, I mean, just his
You got
usage
to
was so
roster him once
strange.
with me.
I'll do one.
If Clyde's out, I'm only doing it if Clyde is out. I want to make that crystal clear. I'm only doing it if Clyde is out. Because then it's like it's evident that Pacheco gets the groundwork and McKinnon steps into that change of pace role. And this game is like the only reason why I would do that. It's going to be in a game stack. I need this game to not go over 50. I need it to go for 70. Like I need an extremely high game total, and that's the perfect Jerick McKinnon game script at 4,600.
Russ Troutman. Russ Troutman. Russ Wilson. Yeah, it'd be funny. Rashad White, good price, 5,500. Damian Pierce, I kind of like that spot sneakily. Larry Tunsil is out. Not like he was really a run blocker anyway. He's more of a pass blocking type of guy, but that offensive line kind of depleted. So I don't know if you really want to go to Damian Pierce unless you're trying to get weird in tournaments. We talked about Kenneth Walker, one of the only running back to be inside the top 10 for rush attempt share per team and also running back route participation per team. So Kenneth Walker seems to be the clear guy in Seattle, at least through the 1 week sample size. Down low, I mean, Zach Moss is 4,700. You could do that if you want to, but I think what Ghost said, if Clyde's out, I'd rather go to a guy like McKinnon. Otherwise, I'd rather just pay up because it seems like everybody's playing value running backs this week. Give me Derrick Henry. Give me Saquon Barkley. Obviously, you could always play Christian McCaffrey, but if the Cardinals are going to be the most popular defense on the slate, Saquon Barkley is extreme leverage, and I'm all about that. So fire up Saquon. Travis Etienne should have a very good role here in the pass catching game for Jacksonville. Should get about 14 carries, I think is what I have him projected for, but Tank Bigsby is going to be in the red zone. James Cook, same thing there. He's going to be super popular. It's a great spot, almost a double-digit home favorite. We talk about that often. I just don't know how to handicap that red zone offense yet. We didn't really see them get in the red zone much against the New York Jets, so it could be Damian Harris, could be Lat Murray, could be James Cook. For 6,100, I'm not going to roll the dice when guys like Kenneth Walker are cheaper. Guys like A.J. Dillon are cheaper. It just doesn't seem like an educated risk, in my opinion. And then, yes, enter this free roll here. This link, if you can click it on the chat, is a free tournament. It will pay the top 4 places. So get after that one. Is it good to play 3 running backs on FanDuel? Yeah, I think this week especially, too, because while the running backs are cheap, it goes touchdowns matter most on FanDuel. So I would say they have the most touchdown equity there is.
Yeah, if I didn't mention that in week one, it's very outside of my character because I usually repeat that over and over, week in, week out. And if I didn't in week one, I apologize. But yeah, everything goes out the window in terms of DraftKings versus FanDuel when you're building on the ladder because half PPR versus full PPR, and it's all the difference in the world. There's no 100-yard bonuses. There's none of that. Every time I roster someone on FanDuel, I'm thinking, can this guy score a touchdown? And that's the way that I build my lineups because touchdown equity is everything over there. It's pretty rare that you'll see a million maker style winning lineup or a high dollar single entry lineup where it's just a bunch of floor guys like you can have on DraftKings when a player like Stephon Diggs goes 10 for 150 and he's getting a million PPR points because of the 100-yard bonus and like it's that kind of goes out the window when it comes to FanDuel. So I absolutely love building with 3 running backs there.
All right. Wide receivers. Start at the top. 7K and above. Who is your? I mean, obviously Keenan Allen's going to be extremely popular. Calvin Ridley, I'm not really on that situation. I think this is a better spot for Christian Kirk on the inside of that defense. But if Calvin Ridley is going to get 10 targets a game just because he is an absolute stud, he certainly passed the eye test in Indy. Like, this guy didn't miss a beat. He looked awesome. Obviously stepped out of bounds on that one that should have been a longer touchdown, but it is what it is. Up top, I think Jamar Chase is probably my favorite. Honorable mention, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is 8K on DraftKings and 8K on FanDuel. So as much as I want to play Stephon Diggs on DraftKings, I'm just going to, like I said on the First and Six podcast this week, I'm actually playing significant volume on FanDuel this week because of Stephon Diggs' price and Joe Burrow's price. It's kind of, I don't care if they're popular. I found a different way to get different. But I'm going to play Jamar Chase on DraftKings, Stephon Diggs on FanDuel. Anybody up top you absolutely love, like Amon-Ra, it's a good spot, but I'm not paying personally $7,800 for Amon-Ra when Keenan Allen to me is the same exact guy in a better spot, in my opinion, at $7,100. So I'll take the $800 in savings for the same type of player on a team that should pass the ball more this week. Is how I handicapped it. So I'm going with Keenan and Allen over Amon-Ra St. Brown for like up top chalk.
Nothing really that I could add there. We're on the same wavelength. I'm taking Jamar Chase again. I already touched about it with Joe Burrow. That's my main stack this week. Diggs is extremely popular, rightfully so. I'm not going to fault anyone for eating that chalk, but other than that, man, like I'm not playing CD. I'm looking at the rest of this list. I'm not playing CD Lamb. I'm not playing Devontae Adams. I'm not playing Garrett Wilson. I'm not. If you think Seattle and Detroit shoots out, you could kind of stay out of that higher range and go with the DK Metcalf. But again, I much prefer Keenan Allen over any of the last 4 guys that I mentioned, let alone DK Metcalf. So it's tough for me to go anywhere else, really. It's Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, and Keenan Allen for me. If you're playing a main stack of Seattle and Detroit because you think instead of 47, it goes for 67, then yeah, DK Metcalf instantly becomes one of your favorite wide receivers if you're investing in that game.
Yeah, I love it. If you like that game, trust your gut. Like, don't ever let us talk you off it. Receiver for 6K on FanDuel. Ghost, are you ready to answer this? Otherwise, I could. It has to be 6K. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you can get up to
Dotson.
I was gonna say 6K. We're not gonna touch a lot about this guy because you already mentioned him, but Christian Kirk is everyone's already freaking out about best ball shares. I'm seeing him getting dropped in season-long leagues. Like Christian Kirk, 6K on FanDuel. That's a phenomenal spot. I talked about touchdown equity on FanDuel, so for that reason, I'm gonna say no to Josh Reynolds. But if you want to go there, I won't completely argue against it. But Josh Reynolds at 5,900. If not,
they play. Seattle's going to play a lot of cover 3, and they're down. Jamal Adams is out too, so it's a good spot for Laporta. But dude, Josh Reynolds actually got fed against this coverage scheme last year when he was the wide receiver too. That's when Chark was out, and obviously towards the end of the year when Jameson Williams came back. But before that, when Chark didn't play, Josh Reynolds fucking destroyed it. I like Jahan Dotson a little bit here too, Ghost, because that's like as much as it sucked to watch Devontae Adams get bottled up as my run back for my Denver stacks last week. Watching Jacoby Myers just tear up I think it's Ising Bassi was kind of the guy that was in coverage there for the most part. And dude, Dotson's going to have that because
he was putting him in a blender, man. And he's far from an elite route runner. Nothing against Jacoby Myers. He's a great player, but
he's a great slot receiver. And
he's far from an elite route runner, but he was putting him in a blender, man. It was really bad. So yeah, I'm on board with Dotson there. I was all over that in week 1, and I don't mind going back to the well there. But from like, if you're in a large field tournament on FanDuel, and they're notorious for having that, their contest selection is far from elite in terms of DraftKings. There's a lot of large field tournaments over there. If you're in one of those tournaments, for me, it would be Christian Kirk at 6K. If not, Dotson at 61. If you could move a couple things around, you got Zay that's there at 66.
Dude,
there's a couple other targets.
Chris Godwin at 60.
Chris Godwin at 60.
Just go get him.
Like I would just find a way to punt your defense, and as long as you're not playing a ridiculously bad defense, like, yeah, I would just find a way to Godwin there at 63.
The Bears don't have Kyler Gordon. He just broke his hand and went on the IR. He's their nickel corner. Josh Blackwell, the backup, who's terrible, I believe, is also hurt. They're going to have to. Apparently, Twitter is saying that rookie Tyreek Stevenson, instead of being designated to cover Mike Evans most of the day on the outside, which would be very interesting, is going to go inside. Chris Godwin should have an absolute field day, and he is way too cheap on FanDuel. So I would say go up to. It's like, Christian Kirk's a little bit of a dart throw. Jahan Dotson's like, he's still not. I guess he's the 1B target to Terry McLaurin. They looked at Curtis Samuel a lot too last week, and it's probably a run first team. So I think just go up to Chris Godwin's your safest bet there. Honorable mention Nico Collins. I'm just not on that game whatsoever. FanDuel Diggs. Diggs is AK on FanDuel. Play Diggs. Right?
You have to play Diggs. Yeah, you have to. You have to play any cash lineup either site. You have to play Stephon Diggs this week, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Mid-tier wide receivers will go 5,500 and above. I'll start us off. My favorite play on the board this week is going to be Mike Williams. I don't care what his ownership is. Ghost talked about that matchup earlier. Mike Williams is like almost my Tyreek Hill. I think I'll have the most exposure on the day to Mike Williams, even when I'm not playing Herbert. Mike Williams is just too damn cheap on both outlets that I'll be playing a ton of him. Love Chris Godwin on the other side of my Justin Fields GPP stuff. T. Higgins, I'll probably only play with Joe Burrow, and that'll be a double stack with Chase. And then other than that, Deebo Samuel, 5,600, I think is a fantastic play. You could certainly roll the dice with Ayuk again, but Ayuk's going to be close to 20% owned. I'm going to go to Deebo Samuel, who against zone coverage is a killer. Player props are pretty much right around the same for him and Ayuk, and Deebo's got that, rushing floor, especially against the zone. I'm going with Deebo Samuel, Chris Godwin, and Mike Williams, 5,500 and above. How about you?
All three of those guys are above this guy for me, but I'm not going to name the same ones as you. So I'll throw Michael Pittman Jr. in the mix. Relatively safe floor, and Anthony Richardson really figured out that that's going to have to be his guy. So double-digit targets, really picked it up in that second half, and the two of them looked really good together. So Ridley for that question.
Yeah. Don't play Christian Kirk in cash.
It's Calvin Ridley. He's going to be 25+% rostered this week, so I'm not opposed to playing Calvin Ridley in cash. My number one mid-range wide receiver is going to be T. Higgins. I said it. I think it was Tuesday in Discord or Wednesday morning at the latest. T. Higgins will win someone $1 million this week. Even in the semi-typhoon that they played in where Joe Burrow had to wear a glove for the first time in who knows how many years, that's how bad it was. You could barely handle the ball off the snap. T. Higgins still had an ADOT of nearly 19 yards. It was 18.8 to be exact. Highest air yard share of any wide receiver in the league. I'm going to it. It's a ridiculously bad zone defense given the players that are there to play that zone defense this week for the Ravens. And they're at home in their own stadium. They have a point to prove here. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. It's Super Bowl or bust for the way that this roster is constructed. I think the Bengals actually one of, if not the highest scoring teams this week. And it starts with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the outside. T. Higgins, that ADOT, even with the weather and everything, it's just too hard to ignore. Every time Joe Burrow was looking deep, his first read, believe it or not, was always T. Higgins. So I'm going on that one-on-one matchup. He's going to find the soft spots in the zone at 6,400 on DraftKings. T. Higgins will win someone $1 million this week. That's my guy.
All right. I will go with Mike Williams for that answer. Real quick, honorable mention, DJ Moore averages like 19 fantasy points per game against the Bucs secondary over the past like 2.5 years. So he had to be vocal in practice. That's why I really like this Bears offense as well. Like, he's going to know what kind of coverage Todd Bowles is going to run at them and how DJ Moore could beat it. John Dotson, 4,900. We talked about him. Going to go unowned. Everybody was on him last week. We told, I guess he wasn't like a bad play. He may have hit value, but just fucking popular Jahan Dotson in a game against the Arizona Cardinals that was projected for like a 37-point total. I don't understand why anybody would ever go to that. There is going to be, I'll go to that this week. I think this is a really good spot just based on the routes that Jacoby Myers ran, and I truly believe Dotson can run routes significantly better than he can, especially when moving to the outside at times. They're going to be the same value on the Packers pass catchers if you're into that game. Low total, though. Just beware Romeo Doubs and 3,400 Jaden Reed. Nico Collins probably around 10%. I love that people love Nico Collins. Yeah, I know I was always talking about him last year. It really never came to fruition until late, but I always love my boy Nico. I just won't be playing him today. Kadarius Toney seems to be someone that people want to talk about as breaking out. I mean, good luck. 7 to 8 receivers for Kansas City run routes. Maybe it's Toney. That'd be awesome, but I'm not going to roll the dice there, and that's kind of what turned me off about Patrick Mahomes is I just don't know who to stack him with outside of Kelsey. Obviously, you probably just don't reinvent the wheel. 4,500, Traylon Burks should have a much more involved route tree this week. He did play the slot a lot as well, which is a really good spot against Michael Davis. And I believe Asante Samuel Jr. is struggling since the end of last season and the beginning of this season. So Traylon Burks, especially if DeAndre Hopkins is kind of a decoy, assuming that he's not close to 100% ready to go, I think Traylon Burks at 4.5K is a fantastic GPP pivot, especially against like Nico Collins chalk range, I would say. And then below that, is there anybody 4K or below that you like on DraftKings outside of Josh Reynolds? Because I absolutely love Josh Reynolds this week too. Just for the value.
Can I sneak above that 4K range? Like by
You can
200
sneak
bucks?
above. Yeah, you make the rules.
I'll cheat a little bit. We'll
cheat a little bit.
It's our show. We
ain't
make
cheating,
the
ain't
rules.
trying.
So, yeah, there you go. So I'll throw Michael Gallup's name out there. Brandon Cooks is looking like he's not going to go. So I will throw Michael Gallup in that conversation at 4,200 on DraftKings. Go route specialist. It's one of the only routes that he runs. So with Sauce, he's not going to shadow CD. CD moves all over the field. He plays the slot, plays the outside on both sides of the field there. So they will find a way to scheme CD Lamb open, similarly to the way that Stephon Diggs did there. But either way, Michael Gallup with Brandon Cooks out at 4,200. That would be my guy. And then other than that, I'm not really going to any of this chalk. If you really want to take a flyer on someone like Josh Downs, again, it's like I'm not really going anywhere down in this range besides the names that you mentioned. Only one that I can really throw out there to add to the conversation is Michael Gallup.
Yeah, I like Josh Downs a ton, man. Anthony Richardson really loved the inside of the coverage last week with Kellen Granson and him. And Downs is, dude, he's fast as shit. So
he's explosive off the line.
Yeah,
that's what I love about him. Explosive off the line. When you're talking about a $3,500 and below play, it really doesn't take all that much. The guy goes 3 for 30 and he's already at 2x value. It's I'm not completely opposed to it. You good? Did we lose you? I can't hear you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't have headphones right now, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, that's it for the wide receiver position. No, you didn't want to add anything else? We'll just move to tight end. We'll move to tight end. At the top of the grid, give me a head nod or a head shake if you're in on Travis Kelce this week.
All right, I hear you again. I am not going to be in on, but to answer that question real quick, FanDuel DK Cash QB, I'd say DK for me, it's going to be Josh Allen. I guess you can go Justin Herbert as well. We love him. On FanDuel, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow is criminally underpriced. So Joe Burrow on FanDuel is probably the move there. CH is active.
Damn, that sucks.
It sucks. Granson.
That really sucks.
Let's go to tight ends. But yeah, Josh Downs, I do like him a little bit. But yeah, I'm not playing Kelce. I don't know. I just don't trust that he's 100% okay. And I just can't really afford him because with all the chalk at mid-tier running backs, I'm just paying up for running back. So Kelce is by default out there, and I'm just fading that game. Hope it doesn't kill me. So it is what it is. Playing a little risky on that side. I do like Mark Andrews a ton. I think it's a really good spot for him. Coming back, I do believe he's 100% healthy. I think he could have went last week, but they were playing Houston and decided that they could beat Houston without him. I like Kittle over 38.5 receiving yards. That would be my exposure to Kittle. I can't really get there in DFS with how much I like Debo, and I'm not going to game stack that game. Darren Waller, I'm probably out on. Just, again, injury concerns. I love Cole Kmet. So I wrote about Cole Kmet, how he does against cover 3 and against teams that blitz a ton. Both of those situations is advantage Cole Kmet. Last year, inside the red zone, the Bucs blitz a ton. Cole Kmet had a 50% target share when he ran a route, and 3 of his 7 touchdowns came against the blitz inside the red zone. So Cole Kmet is going to be Justin Fields' guy. There are no weather concerns, according to Mr. Justin Roth. If you follow him on Twitter, pretty much the MLB weather guy also does some NFL, so that's pretty cool. Looks like everything's green, so good to go there. Sam Laporta, again, no Jamal Adams for Seattle. I think Sam Laporta is in a fantastic spot. Did run a surprising amount of routes last week. Dalton Schultz actually led the NFL in routes ran for tight ends, but
that's so gross.
You got to keep in mind like what the situation was. They were getting their ass kicked, so of course they're going to run a ton of routes because they have to pass to stay in that football game. Favorite play in terms of value, he will be my cash game tight end this week on DraftKings is Chig Okonkwo. So the Chargers are going to run a lot of man defense that is advantage to the X wide receiver, which today I guess would probably be DeAndre Hopkins. I think he'll be a little bit of a decoy. So maybe Treylon Burks and Chig Okonkwo. And then when they play cover 3 and blitz, that is when Tannehill and I guess Josh Dobbs last year. But this offense, the quick reads against the blitz were to Chig Okonkwo once he started running routes. I think this is the first time in his career he ever ran a 75% route participation. So it's like they let him loose last week. Obviously, New Orleans Saints is just not a good matchup for tight ends. I think they were first in fantasy points allowed per opposing tight end. So a great defense against the tight end last year. Looks like they started off strong this year. Could be Chig Okonkwo. And on the other side, like the pivot, you like Jake Ferguson for Dallas or Dalton Kincaid at the same price as probably a popular Chiggy?
No, I thought we were gonna get to the end of your segment and you would not mention either one of my 2 tight end targets. But yeah, Chig is high up on my list this week, and the other one's gonna be Darren Waller.
You are playing Waller, okay?
I am playing Waller. Yeah.
Yep, I'm going with.
What
Chig.
What are you doing with it? Like, I'm sure everyone's waiting for this part, so we'll just get right into it. There. What are you doing with the punt tight ends? Adam Troutman, Musgrave, Kyle Granson, all these guys. What are you doing with them? Oh, the other. By the way, sorry to cut you off before I even let you get going. The other guy that I have a decent amount of is Evan Engram. Those are the 3 guys.
I like
Darren Waller, Darren Waller, Evan Engram, and Chig. In terms of order of exposure, it's Engram, Chig, and Waller third because I don't really like the ownership there.
I understand Waller. It's a great spot. It's just whether or not he's healthy. It certainly looked like he was a big part of their focal point of that offense on Monday. Then the game just got out of hand. Yeah. Troutman, no fucking interest at all. Kellen Granson, no interest at all. I don't like anybody down there. Maybe Cade Otton again. He's a guy that's just going to be very active in that offense. I think that game shoots out a little bit. Luke Musgrave, no interest. I mean, DK Cash, you probably want to play it at 20%. I'm playing Chiggy because I'm playing A.J. Dillon. I'm not playing A.J. Dillon and Luke Musgrave in cash when the total is 40 points. But Chiggy's my guy down there. I'm playing Chig.
I like it.
And Sam Laporta, and Cole Kmet as like the mid-tier, and then Mark Andrews when I pay up. But I'm only playing Andrews in Burrow stacks. Defense, I love the Jets just because they're 2,700 on DraftKings and 37 on FanDuel. Houston is very cheap on FanDuel. They got a lot of playmakers. Cool with that one. Other than that, we don't need to talk about defense, do we? Please, Ghost. No. Not on the flu day. All right, quarterback. Cash quarterback. Who's it going to be?
Josh Allen.
Oh, do you like Zach Ertz at all? That's a good question here by Eddie.
No.
I mean, the dude got a ton of targets. What do you go for, like 12 yards though? Like 10 catches, 12 yards?
If in 2013, yes. In 2023, no. I can't stomach it. I'm not going to talk anybody off it, but I refuse.
I mean, Josh Dobbs loves the tight end, so I'm okay with Ertz on DraftKings when you get the PPR, but I wouldn't touch it on FanDuel because there's no yardage upside. Oh, Watson Jones out. Yep, we figured. So all the projections on the site should factor that in already. QB cash, go.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen for me as well. GPPs.
Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert.
Then I will love those 2 as well. I will go Justin Fields. He breaks the slate today. Again, like Ghost mentioned too, right below Josh Allen, everybody's chalk, and right above Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, chalk probably 3 and 4. So yeah, Justin Fields is sitting there in a sandwich in a zone that everybody's playing, but they're not playing him. So Ride it. Running back. Give me high tier cash and mid to low tier cash. So if you're paying up in a cash game, who's going to be?
Christian
Running
McCaffrey.
back. McCaffrey, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
the safe route, especially on DraftKings.
Yeah. And mid tier, I'll leave you AJ Dillon. So I'll go with Josh Kelly.
Okay. Up top for me, obviously it's Christian McCaffrey if you could do it. I think Saquon still in cash is fine. I don't think you have to ride all this ownership wave at the upper tier. Saquon is going to be the focal point of their offense, him and Waller. Cash, and then, I'm locking in cash games. This is double ups, 50-50s, not tournaments. Josh Kelly. GPP running backs. Yeah, I'm just giving whoever you got. It's going to be King Henry for both of us, isn't it?
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey at the top, King Henry, Jameer Gibbs.
Jameer Gibbs, damn. I didn't think you'd actually give him as your
Gibbs.
second answer because that was going to be mine. All right.
Well,
give me
my bad. I especially
no, you're good.
Post flu game show. I should have given you that one.
No, Gibbs. You led off the running backs. Gibbs you named him first, so let's do it. I'll go.
And I can't play McKinnon now. That's the annoying part. That's why.
Okay, so
CH is active.
All of a sudden you got $1,700 extra bucks to go up to Gibbs every lineup. Perfect.
Yeah, it's our show. We make the rules. I'll find another $1,700.
I'll go Kenneth Walker, I guess, for the mid-tier GPP, but I will try to get Gibbs everywhere I can. Wide receiver. Up top, cash.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs.
End of list.
Diggs, if you're not playing Josh Allen on DK, make sure Diggs is in there. One of those two needs to be in your cash lineup. High implied team total. Fantastic match against the Raiders that Russell Wilson should have fucking destroyed yesterday or last week, but Sean Payton is a coward pussy. Sorry. And then Jamar Chase is going to be my upper tier cash lock because I'm using Josh Allen, so I'm not going to stack. We'll go Jamar Chase there. Mid-tier cash wide receiver, who you got? Can we say mid-tier lock button wide receiver because we both have the same answer?
Like for cash?
Just both.
Mike Williams.
Whatever. Yeah,
Mike Williams. Yeah, it's
Big
Mike,
Mike, baby.
No real other consideration there.
Debo, I guess, will be my mid-tier cash lock. You could also play him in tournaments, but 5,600 for Debo Samuel against his own defense. San Fran does have a very high implied team total as well, 26.5 points, it looks like. So, yeah, give me Debo. Tournament, up top guy.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. All right, for me, it would be, geez, everybody's so popular up here. Keenan Allen. And he's going to be popular. So I'm double stacking Herbert just to be transparent. And then mid-tier, I'm going with Chris Godwin and or Mike Evans. If you could afford Evans, feel free. It's only $200 more. But, yeah, one of those two for the Bucs because Justin Fields is my main GPP guy. Running it back with one of those two against a absolute shitstorm of a defensive back situation for the Chicago Bears. Oh, here we go. Season-long question for you, too. Herbert versus what the hell does that even mean? Herbert.
Oh, is that Khalil Herbert? Khalil Herbert versus Gus Edwards versus Bourne?
That's
Jason Bourne?
Get that question out. That doesn't make any sense. Reword that. Gus.
We need some Grammarly.
We
need some Grammarly in there.
Khalil versus Gus. Ooh. Donta Foreman was a healthy scratch today. I think it's Roshan Johnson. If he's free in your season-long leagues,
I'm taking the bus.
You may want to stash Roshan. Taking the bus.
I'm taking the bus. The Gus bus.
I'll go Khalil Herbert. He still looks solid last week. Roshan Johnson is a guy to keep an eye on. He is a tank. And then I'm going Romeo Doubs over Bourne. But the Patriots play Miami,
correcto.
so you probably want to play Bourne. I'm going with Bourne.
No, I'm going Doubs.
Much higher.
I refuse to play any New England Patriots this year.
Yeah, it'll probably burn you. Punt, wide receivers. Let's go 5K or below DraftKings.
You didn't let me say T. Higgins. And my mid-range wide receiver. I've been waiting to say that for like 3 minutes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm locking Mike Williams and you're
T. Higgins. We need a little side beer chug bet for mid-range wide receivers, but I like Big Mike too much too, so it doesn't really work. But we got to figure something out.
7,000 or below.
T. Higgins. I didn't even look. Sorry, I'm just doing that by instinct.
He's 7K flat.
He's 7K on the dot. That's why I said that. Big Mike 6,700, Debo 69, T Higgins at 7K,
Chris Godwin.
Godwin at 63. Cool with any one of those guys, and Zebebe at 66, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm actually gonna wait and see Zay Flowers roll with Mark Andrews. I don't think he's gonna get he's clearly not getting a 45% target share ever again when Andrews on the field.
I'm only doing it in game stacks because the script that I'm playing is that the Bengals blow the socks off of the Ravens happening. So they got to pass. That's the script that I'm using.
5K or below, cash game. Go ahead.
Josh Reynolds, end of list.
Yep. Same for me. And then tournament, I would say Jahan Dotson and Treylon Burks. Tight end, cash. Ownership on DraftKings right now would just say take Luke Musgrave. But again, I'm not playing Musgrave and A.J. Dillon. So I'm choosing A.J. Dillon. I'll be playing Chiggin cash. What about you for DraftKings cash?
I had the same mindset. I just, as gross as it is, I almost threw up as I clicked the button, but I am playing Adam Troutman in cash because I don't want two Packers in a game with a total of 40 points. So I went Troutman.
What's the total in Denver? It can't be much better.
It's really not.
It's 38.5. It's worse. Yeah, fuck Adam Troutman. You guys, sorry, pardon my language. You guys can have Adam.
I'm just not playing two Packers.
Adam Troutman's a blocker. Not a good route runner. I mean, he ran routes last week.
I know.
Jerry Judy's back too. Where are these targets? Where are these targets going?
We'll figure it out after the show. We'll figure it out after the show. We'll figure it out after the show. We'll figure it out after the show.
If it works out, you guys can at me and yell at me later. But don't fucking play Adam Troutman. You've never played Adam Troutman a day in your life. You're not doing it.
No, I have not because it's beyond gross.
Judy comes back.
I wish we could just not play tight ends, but anyways.
I like tight ends because then you can
get
weird with it. Tournaments, I'll still go Chiggy, and I will go Sam Laporta. Shout out Southern Illinois, Sam Laporta. Same conference as same conference as the high school I was in. So
I'm going Evan Ingram.
I am obviously Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram.
That's a good spot. Kind of like Fergie or Kincaid as a pivot if Chiggy's popular, but no. All right. Any questions? Play Troutman, bro. Don't do that. You guys are out of your fucking minds. It is Sunday, people get crazy. Any other question? Here we go. I already got boned by Madison, Pacheco, Algier, Pacheco. Right? All day.
Yep.
This sounds like something you are interested in right here. Jamar and Higgins stack a possible takedown. Yeah. I mean, Marlon Humphrey.
My balances, my account balances rely on it. So I'm going to say yes.
Oh, yeah. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Corey Cracks. Good buddy of mine. All right. Should I shove Henry in or ETN a good pivot?
If you're stacking the Chargers, I'd go Henry. But if you don't have a Chargers stack, I'm cool with Travis Etienne. But I think Derrick Henry has a week. Derrick Henry's going to have
$500 more. Derrick Henry's all-purpose yard props like 106 at some shops.
Derrick Henry's going to have a week.
Go to Derrick Henry is what I would say. ETN just
it's like two guys that we seemingly I'm gonna jinx us too. I shouldn't even be saying this. I'm gonna jinx it, but two guys we seemingly get right every time. Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook over the years. I don't think we've ever not called a 5% Dalvin Cook explosion game.
Well, that won't happen ever again with his
situation. Yeah.
So it was fun. It was fun.
It was fun while it was fun while it lasted, but Derrick Henry has a week.
FanDuel defense. It's so, hey, you know what?
I'm crazy. I played the Texans at 3,400. I
don't think that's crazy at all. Yeah,
they got moves and Anthony Richardson turnovers might be there. I'm cool with that. Jets at 37. I'm also down for.
Yep, I would say the Jets and the Texans.
Those are my two defenses on FanDuel
for cheap.
Yep,
dude, it was kind of wild. Like I actually know all of the FanDuel pricing because once I saw Joe Burrow.
Since when do you play on FanDuel?
This week. I said it on the podcast. I was like, I'm surprisingly, I think I have more money in FanDuel this week than DraftKings because of that pricing. And Jahmyr Gibbs is 5,800 on FanDuel.
Correct.
What the hell is that? Yeah, that's nuts. So I was like, okay, I'll take a free square of him. Diggs is 8K, which is pretty much 7K on DraftKings. So it's like, yeah, well, I'll take that too. And then there you go. So
like I have a lineup with Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Stephon Diggs.
Falcons defense. That's a good one. I think the Packers defense is kind of sneaky today too. Both of those games, I think those defenses are respectable. Tight end on DK Cash. Sig or Ingram? Oh, I guess if you had the choice, go with Ingram. The better game environment,
Ingram.
higher. Definitely that. Season-long defenses.
Detroit Giants.
Yeah, I would say I would rank them Giants, Green Bay, Washington. No, Giants, Green Bay, Detroit, Washington. Russ is going to cook that week. I'm off him. There's just no way he could
let him cook.
Snap the ball at 3 seconds on the play clock every fucking play. But any other questions we got? I feel like this was a pretty weak week for questions, which I don't mind because I do not feel very well today. But
it's flu game season.
Yeah, flu game.
Bengals, Ravens.
But yeah, thank you all for the support. 50-minute show. Let's go. That's absolutely awesome. Love you guys. Good luck to everybody. Again, weather looks very clear in terms of the big injuries. Aaron Jones out. A.J. Dillon's good to go. Austin Eckler out. Josh Kelly, obviously good to go. And any other big injuries? DeAndre Hopkins is in. I think those were the big three. The two are out. And then obviously Hopkins is going to try to go. Other than that, I think we're good, right? And then, oh God, don't pull that up again. See, his smile's just so beautiful. Look at him. He's just a handsome person. Then he's like, and Troutman's like, oh God. And then I get mixed signals from him now. So no, whatever. You guys can play Adam Troutman. I'm not doing it. Other than that, Ghost, any closing thoughts? Survivor. Who's your Survivor pick this week? If you had to choose. We should do that at the end of every show. People love Survivor. If you don't play Survivor, you should play for free or play for a money pot with people you know. It's just it's fun. It's an absolute shit show all the time because the NFL is crazy.
I went the New York Giants this week, and both of my Survivors. No such thing. The limit does not exist.
Yeah.
No such thing.
For me today, not touching the stuff, but I like some tequila sunrise.
Yeah.
Have a couple.
The limit does not exist.
All around. Besides me today, but other than
I went the Giants in both of my Survivor leagues. I went.
I don't like teams on the road.
I went the Giants.
I didn't take the Cowboys. I don't know. Actually, it's like, does Zach Wilson rally the troops? Probably not. I'm taking Detroit. I think they beat the shit out of Seattle. Take Buffalo. Actually, I'm taking Buffalo. I'm taking the.
You're using them week 2. I like it.
Yeah. You can't get to week 3 if you don't win week 2. And
that's exactly my thought process.
I took Seattle. I had 2 in my main one, 2 entries, and I took Seattle in one last week, and that was dead. So I just have to see week 3. So the best quarterback to take today. Just overall, who's QB1? I will have the balls to say it. Justin Fields will be QB1 today. Honorable mention, Herbert or Burrow.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. All right.
Go Tigers.
Cash, Dylan or Kelly.
Kelly
for sure on FanDuel. Dylan's expensive on FanDuel. It's like they kind of saw that coming. Yeah, $7K. Fuck that.
Well, it's the touchdown equity that's like AJ Dillon was, even last year, he was priced in that mid 6K, 7K range all the time, right? So even when Aaron Jones is playing or not, he's always fairly higher priced. But you have to play Josh Kelly and cash.
Yeah, QBs was a tournament question. Nice. Okay, sweet. Well, good luck to everybody. Thank you. Hit us up in Discord. I will actually be sitting on the couch. Should have my phone on me for a while. So excited to talk football with anybody that cares to. And then other than that, enjoy your day. Ghost, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie. Some people didn't like the bucket hat on some of my offline DMs. I thought it was awesome. I think it's a good change. Maybe last year or last week because you just had some crazy weird lighting. You looked like,
it was the lighting last week, and like I was saying, I hadn't tested my setup in a really long time. So you guys got to let me know if the Expos hat has to make a comeback, then the Expos hat makes a comeback. Unfortunately, I cheer for Ferrari because I'm Italian, and Ferrari's my F1 team, but they don't make Ferrari bucket hats. So I got this at the Montreal GP, and it's an Aston Martin bucket hat. So, look, if the vibes aren't there, the show is for you guys. So if you're not feeling it, the Expos hat will make a return. It's
keep that until our cash core just shits the bed. Then we're riding.
Yeah, then we're gonna need to change up. We're gonna need to switch up. Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
All right, have a great time. Oh wait, we got one more question. Here we go. Love the question. What cheaper options you guys like for QB DK cash? I'm just running Allen, calling it a day. But if you need the savings, I would just say make sure Diggs is in your lineup. If you're not playing Allen, then I would say Justin Herbert on DK. That's 7K. It's just
I also
I have him projected for 39 pass attempts. Let me actually see. I bet you that's a problem.
Not that I landed here, but if you absolutely have to, I'm not opposed to using Trevor Lawrence on DK Cash. The ownership will be there, and it's a great game environment regardless. So you absolutely have to play Stephon Diggs if you're not playing Josh Allen. But
25.
If you need the savings, Trevor Lawrence you could do a lot worse than Trevor Lawrence there at 67.
Dude, Chris Jones is back. I kind of respect that. 25.5 completions is the player prop for Justin Herbert. Juice on the over. Holy shit. Yeah, play Justin Herbert and cash is what I would tell you is the sports books are screaming to do. Good to go? Good
to go. Good luck, everyone.
Brian wants you to fight him.
Why?
Who the fuck is hating on the Buckethead? Your anytime TD picks. I don't have... Dude, that was fucking sweet, too. You guys got to tip the cap on that one with Donald Parham. He got twice. And that write-up I had... actually, it was a verbal write-up, I guess. I called that on Sia's show. I think Sia was on it, too. He was down with that pick. I'm like... It may have been the end of July we did that show, or the first or second week of August. It was a long time ago, and we both said, like, yeah, Parham's going to run. They're going to run 2 tight end sets, just like they did in Dallas. My tight end, it's not nearly as sexy of odds as last week. George Kittle, though, today will score a touchdown, and I'll tell you the coverage it should come on. I wrote it down. It should be a cover 3. Big time blitz, like 6 pass rushers should come in. Little drag route for Kittle, walks in the end zone untouched. So George Kittle will be the anytime touchdown pick of the week. Don't get in the habit of betting anytime touchdown, so just forewarning. But all right, Ghost, everybody, good luck. Thank you so much for all the support.
Good luck, everyone.
And yeah, enjoy it. Go Tigers, go Chargers, go Fields, baby. And then other than that, have fun. Don't play Adam Troutman.